Good morning, family. This is Eugene Clapp coming at you from E.E.CLAPP, Iron Mind Motivational Coaching. And as I told you in the video last week, we're starting up our motivational series again. I took a few years off because there were some things that I had to get right within myself, within my household, and I got them right now. So I'm coming at you to let you know that you can overcome and you can achieve and you can live the life that you deserve and you can make a difference in society at large. But it's just some steps that we have to take, and we have to surround ourselves by like-minded people, and we have to listen to motivational things. We have to be our own best motivational person as well as our own best critic. And I want to ask you this question. Are you your biggest fan? Not your mama, not your kids, not your brothers, not your sisters, not your spouse, not your friends, not your teammates, not your coaches. Are you your biggest fan? Because see, if you're not your biggest fan, then that's a problem, people, because you can't expect anybody else to love you like you love yourself. I want you to think about some of the people that you know that have resonated across society over the last decade, over the last 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 years, and the way they thought of themselves. Let's think of one, Muhammad Ali. What did he always tell you? I am the greatest. I'm the prettiest. I'm a bad man. Let's think about Terrell Owens. I love me some me. Let's even think about our commander-in-chief. Let's think about Donald Trump. At every turn, he tells you that he is the greatest. He knows the most. Nobody knows more than him now. He takes it a little bit too far because he's suffering from something we call the Dunning-Kruger effect, which a lot of times you're disillusioned about what you do have as far as abilities and the change you are facilitating. We're not talking about going to that extreme, but what we are talking about is believing in yourself and making sure that you know that, hey, I'm the one that can get this done for myself. I am the one that has to get it done for me. And we're going to talk about some principles that you can go ahead and employ to make sure you do this. And I made some flashcards for you too, and we're going to talk about it. First thing we're going to talk about is this. You create your own path. Now, I'm saying this to you because I want you to think about when you were coming up through school. You know, your elementary school, you go through the curriculum. You go in middle school, you go through the curriculum. You go in high school, you're going through the curriculum. People are telling you what you can and cannot do. You may have parents who want you to go into a certain field, but that's not what you want to do. So then you go to college or you start your working life and you go into these fields and you work and you toil for years and years and years, but you're never happy because you didn't create your own path, because that's not what you wanted to do. So many times we wait too late, people. So many times we let 10, 15, 20 years pass us by. Sometimes we let a lifetime pass us by, and we don't do what we really want to do. We never fulfill our purpose of society because we don't go out there and question and try to create our own path. We follow, and that's not the thing to do. I'm going to give you a story, and I know that you've heard it before. One day it was on his farm, and he was these chickens in the chicken coop. And all of a sudden, this little eagle, little baby eagle, he falls in the chicken coop out the tree, and he's there, and he looks different from all the chickens, but he's raised as a chicken, which means everything that chickens do, he started to do. He's scratching at the ground, trying to pick up chicken feed. You know, he's walking around clucking like a chicken. Everything he's doing mimics how he was raised, like a chicken. And one day, what had happened? One day he looked up in the sky and he saw this shadow flying over. And it was a majestic bird. And all the chickens were trembling at the sight of this majestic eagle. But this little chicken wasn't. He was enamored with what he saw. So the big eagle was flying and he swooped down and he looked and he said, boy, let me tell you something. You're not a chicken. You're an eagle. Spread your wings and fly. You're not made to scrape at the ground with your feet and eat feed. You're not made to use your beak to pick up feed off the ground. You are an eagle. Get up and fly like an eagle. See, that's what you got to realize, people. You're not a chicken. You're an eagle. You got to get up and fly like an eagle. You got to create your own destiny, your own path. You got to do it for you. Nobody's going to do it for you. So, number one in this, create your own path. The next one we have, number two, You don't need society's approval. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a big one because all of us want to be accepted. All of us want to seek approval that we're doing the right thing. And you have some people who will cower themselves down, who will go ahead and just agree with anybody's viewpoint, and they know that's not their viewpoint, to go ahead and be accepted and approved by society. I'm telling you, that's the wrong way to be. You'll never make it if that's what you want to do. You have to go ahead and know within yourself that, hey, I'm making the right decision. I'm going to give you another case in point because he's my hero, Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, when they told him to go at Vietnam and fight, he said, no, I'm not going over there. I'm not killing anybody else. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going in the draft. I ain't got no problem with the Viet Cong. And he held strong. He wasn't looking for approval. And he got bashed. And he got stripped of his title. And he wasn't able to box. For 3 years, he got ostracized by people. But you know what? He believed in what he was doing. He wasn't seeking approval. And he stood behind it steadfast, even if it meant he had to stand by himself. So whatever journey that you're thinking about going down, whatever path that you're going to be on, you don't have to seek approval. As long as it's good to you, as long as you ain't hurting nobody, do it for yourself because nobody else is going to do it for you. So number 2, you need to stop seeking society's approval. Number 3, you got to follow your heart. You have to follow your heart. I know you've heard people who've had great jobs, making $100,000, $200,000 a year, but that wasn't their heart. And they left those jobs and they started their own business or they did something else. And people thought they were crazy. People laughed at them. People said, oh, you got to be crazy to leave what you were doing to go and do this. This not going to make a difference. What is this? And so many times when you hear it from your family, you hear it from your friends, you hear it from the people who are closest to you, because what they don't understand is that in here is something that beats a little different than what they have. In here, you have a soul for what you want to do. You have the heart to get out there and make it happen. You're a lion, you're not a sheep. So you got to go ahead and follow your heart. Just because you may be good at something, if that's not your heart, guess what? You're not going to do it as well as you could do it because the passion is not there. That's not what you're destined to do. That's not what you're designed for. It's not what you're going to do that's going to change society. It's not going to change your position. So you have to find what it is that moves you, and you got to go for it. You have to follow your heart. Number 4, you don't mind making mistakes. Now, this is a big one because nobody wants to be embarrassed. Nobody wants to be laughed at. Nobody wants to be scorned. Nobody wants to be looked down on. But people, in order to achieve greatness, you're going to have to fail your way to success. You're going to have to make mistakes. If I told you all the mistakes that I make and all the mistakes that I have made, most people would tuck tail and run. And let me tell you something. Sometimes I felt like tucking tail and ran, and sometimes I did run. Okay? I told you I had to grow with this. I had to grow into this. But you can't be afraid of making mistakes. Because what happens with mistakes? Mistakes become what? They become lessons. They show you how you cannot do something. You learn more by failing than you learn by succeeding. Every invention that you see, all these conveniences that we enjoy as a modern day society, people made mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake until they got it right. As a matter of fact, some of them were even discovered by mistake. So some of the greatest things that we enjoy, some of the most beneficial products that we have in our life were created and they were mistakes. So the only way you're going to change your situation, the only way you're going to change your world is you have to be willing to make mistakes and grow from those mistakes. And you have to be willing not to shrivel up and die. You have to be willing to listen to what the naysayers say. You have to be willing to listen to the criticism. As long as you know that you're on the right path, your right path, and you're doing the right thing, it don't matter what they say. Make your mistakes and learn from them. Number 5, You always try again. I don't care if you fell down 7 times, what do you have to do? You got to get up 8. Because each time you get knocked down, each time you try something and it doesn't work, each time you've gone into a business and it hasn't worked out for you. People say, oh God, here he comes again with a business. Oh, I told her it wasn't going to work. Each time, it's very easy for you to do what? To throw in the towel and say, you know what, they're right. It's not going to work. I must have been crazy to think about it. But you can't do that because inside you is a lion. Your heart beats different. Your soul beats different. So that means you got to get up and try again. And get up and try again and again and again and again and again. The ones of us who've made it, the ones of us who are making it, we get knocked down daily. But we get up and we try again. So get up. You always got to do what? You got to try again. Number 6, you must maintain a positive mindset. This goes hand in hand with the last 2 we were just talking about. You're going to have days when you get up where everything goes wrong. The printer's going to run out of ink. Your car's not going to start. You're not going to be able to do your presentations right. You may not get a place on time. Your wife's going to be fussing at you. Your husband's going to be nagging. The kid's going to be sick. The dog going to be barking. You're going to always have something in your way that can get you out of your positive frame of mind. Well, this is where you have to have self-talks with yourself. This is where you have to say, you know what, I am the greatest. What I'm doing is beneficial. What I'm doing is going to work. I'm going to show them, and I'm going to show myself that the path I'm on is the right path. I got this positive mindset. And some days you're going to have to fake it. Some days you're going to have to give that smile when you're not feeling that smile. But you're not really faking it because inside you know that the sun is going to shine tomorrow and it's going to be a better day. So, number 6, do what? Always have a positive mindset. Number 7, you speak your truth. Ladies and gentlemen, this one right here is one that not a lot of people do. I see so many fake, so many phony people out there, and they're not being fake and phony to other people. They're being fake and phony to who? To themselves. Because they're following things that they don't believe. They're saying things that they don't feel. They're putting on a facade. They're not being real. They're not speaking their truth. If they don't like something, they don't say they don't like it. They just go ahead and go with the flow. That's not the way to be, people. You never live your best life. And I hear you all talking about, oh, I'm living my best life. You can never live your best life if you circumvent who you really are just to be accepted, just to be thought of as being nice. Sometimes you got to be a little bit of an asshole to go ahead and get your point across. Sometimes you got to be a little bit of an asshole to make your system work. It's okay. Always speak your truth. I'm going to give you an example with me. People are scared to talk about religion. I see people all the time. Oh, the Lord's going to do this. Oh, the Lord's going to do that. But they don't really feel it. But it sounds good. And it's going to be something that they say that's going to get them accepted. I'm totally against the grain. I don't say that. You'll never hear me say that. Some people don't like the fact that I don't say that. I don't get accepted sometimes because I don't say that. But it's not that I don't believe. I just believe in something a little different. So I don't say that. I speak my truth. I let it be known. That's not something I go with. I have people in my life who are drinkers. I have people in my life who smoke. I don't believe that. I speak out against it. I don't do it. I speak my truth always. Politically, I speak my truth always. I don't care who doesn't like what I say. It's my truth that I'm speaking. So always, in anything that you do, be 100% you and speak your what? Truth. Number 8, you can't be afraid to show your emotions. Okay? You got to show them. Here's the thing that we've been taught. Real men don't cry. When you're in business, you got to remain calm and cool all the time. You can't show your emotions. You got to be emotionless. You got to be a robot. And it seems like in society now, we just revere those who are stoic and don't show any emotions. Well, let me tell you, when you're stoic and you don't show any emotions, that means that you're not secure with who you are because you don't think you can show how you're really feeling and still be effective. I ain't happy all the time. I don't try to be happy all the time. If I'm mad, I let it be known I'm mad. If I'm sad, not feeling well, I let it be known too. If I'm happy and I'm on top of everything, you better believe I let that be known. But the thing about it, you can't be scared to show your emotions. People are holding their emotions in and they are dying. They're killing themselves. They're killing themselves either with a gun or with pills, or they're killing themselves slowly by not letting out how they feel. You know what I'm talking about. Sometimes when you want to have a good cry, you go in private and have a good cry, and guess what happens? You feel better. It's like a whole weight has been lifted off of you. Sometimes you want to say what you have to say, and you just bust. It gets to the point and you say it, and it comes out raw. But you feel better, and you shouldn't let it get to that point because all along, you should not be afraid to show those emotions that you're feeling. It shouldn't build up like that. So people, it doesn't make you weak by showing your emotions. It shows that you're a person who thinks. It shows that you're a person who feels. And it makes you that much more of a genuine person to the people that you're around. So don't be scared. Show your emotions. The ninth one. You know it's okay if somebody doesn't like you. Oh, this is a big one. Some of y'all want to be everybody's friend. You want everybody to like you. You want everybody to love you. You want everybody to think nothing but the good things about you. But you know that's not the case, right? Everybody don't like you. Everybody that skins and grins in your face, they're not in your corner. They don't want to see you succeed sometime. My saying has always been, you have to be willing to turn people off in order to turn the right people on. Let me repeat that to you. You have to be willing to turn people off in order to turn the right people on. Everybody don't need a place in your life. Everybody don't need to be your friend. Everybody don't need to be your associate. Everybody don't need to be your business partner because everybody ain't right for you. Everybody doesn't mean right by you. What you have to do is surround yourself with those people who are right for you. And the only way you're going to do that is by being genuine, is by being your biggest fan. Because see, when you're biggest fan of yourself, the right people are going to gravitate towards you. They're going to say, you know what? That person's full of confidence. That person believes what they're doing. That person has a product or service that's going to change the world. That person has an attitude that's going to shape a lot of people and save a lot of people. You know what? I got to get behind this person because I want some of that energy that they're giving off. So this is why you always got to know it's okay if somebody doesn't like you. Be okay with that. Still be cordial to them. But you aren't here to be liked by everybody. You're here to connect and be liked with the right people. So, some will, some won't. So what? Last but not least in this part of it, you got to think outside the box. Nothing great that's ever been achieved has been an inside the box idea. Let's go all the way back to the wheel. Now, none of us were around when the wheel was created, but guess what? When it was created, it moved things along. Let's think about electric lights. Somebody thought outside the box with that because before that, once it got dark, you had to go to bed unless you had some candles or kerosene lamp, and they didn't light that well. But somebody thought outside the box and created the electric light bulb. The automobile, it was horse and wagon and buggy for the longest. Somebody thought outside the box and said, wait a minute, why don't we build a horseless carriage? Put a motor in it, and it'll move. Did the same thing, carried people around, but it got people there more efficiently, and it got them there faster, thinking outside the box. A man going to the moon, somebody had to think outside the box for that, to be able to create that kind of technology. Everything that is great has been developed by an abstract thinker, somebody who thinks outside the box. So when it comes to you, when it comes to your business, you have to be willing to do some things a little differently than what everybody else does. Yeah, success leaves clues, but you got to be true to yourself and you got to put your spin on it. You got to put your flavor, your personality on what you're doing. And the only way you can do that is be you. And sometimes by being you, you got to think outside the box. So don't be afraid to put those ideas you have in practice. Don't be afraid if it's a totally different way of doing things than anybody else has seen it done. Don't be afraid to say something totally different than somebody else has said. Because that thinking outside the box that you do may just be the catalyst to change your environment, to change the surroundings of your family, and to change society and the world at large. You're just one good idea from changing things. But you got to be willing to think outside that box. And with that being said, this is what it is. Are you a fan of yourself? Now, there are 5 things that you got to do to be a fan of yourself. But first, before that, I'm going to suggest that you do this. And I know it sounds a little hokey to you, but I don't care. Do it. I want you to sit down, get a pen and a piece of paper, and I want you to write a letter to yourself. And I want you to think about a few things when you're writing this letter to yourself. I want you to think about, are you a fan of yourself? Why are you a fan of yourself? What is it that you really like? What are you going to do? And I want you to write this letter. And I want you to carry this letter around with you at all times. So anytime you think that you're down, you got to remember, hey, I'm a fan of me. And I want you to read it. Because, see, when we write things down and we read things and we speak them and we affirm them, what do? 9 times out of 10, they come to fruition. Because it keeps us on track, ladies and gentlemen. It keeps us working towards something. So write that letter to yourself. Write that letter to yourself telling yourself why you are the greatest. Why you are your biggest fan. Because, see, here's the thing. Number one, you got to do what? You have to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, people, nobody else is going to believe in you. Why should they? If I didn't have belief in myself, how can I go and talk to somebody about my business and what I do? How can I talk to you in this video series? I got to believe in myself. Yeah, you may get sick of hearing me, but guess what? Some of you are going to listen. Think about it. We get sick of hearing who? We get sick of hearing Trump, don't we? But we listen. We're compelled to listen because his messages, we have to listen to see what he's going to do because he believes in himself. And even though, like I said, it's disillusion, he's a master at what he does. Also, no one is going to give it to you. It's a dogfight. You will beat 70% of the people by working hard. The other 30% is a dogfight, which means you got to believe. You got to know that you're the best. You got to constantly show that you're the best. You got to feel that you're the best because you got to separate yourself from the pack. And if you're going to be humble all the time, if you're going to be cowered down all the time, if you're going to try to be a good old Joe or a good old Jane and not make any waves, you may make some strides, but you're not going to make the strides that you're capable of. You'll never reach your full potential because you never took the time to step out on faith and be you and fight. Because no one's going to give it to you. And you got to pat yourself on the back. People tell you all this is wrong. Oh, let other people tell you how great you are. No. No. Don't wait on that. Tell yourself how great you are. Take that hand and pat yourself and say, you know what? You did a pretty good job. You know what? You're very smart. You know what? You have an idea that's going to change the world. Pat yourself on the back. Don't wait for your wife. Don't wait for your husband. Don't wait for your kids. Don't wait for your coworkers, your bosses. Don't wait for your customers to pat yourself on. Pat yourself on the back. Know that what you're doing matters. Know that you're good at what you do. And each day you're going to get better and better and better and better at what you do. Give yourself that pat on the back. Next one you want to do, you want to showcase your talents. Now, people always say, oh, he's arrogant. It's not the fact about being arrogant, people. A squeaky wheel gets the oil. You can have the most knowledge in the world, but if you don't showcase your talents, you'll never make change. Nobody ever know. I'm going to give you a classic example. Apple computers. Apple Computer had two wizards at the helm. They had Steve Wozniak, who was the brains who created, and they had Stephen Jobs, who was the man who promoted it. Most people don't even think about Stephen Wozniak as being a major force in Apple. Everybody thinks about Steve Jobs. Why? Because Steve Jobs was out there. He was showcasing what the company did. He was the mouthpiece for it. He was the marketer for it. He let the world know that Apple was great. And from a little tiny garage, Apple became great. Due to Wozniak's intelligence, yes. But more importantly, due to Stephen Jobs telling everybody, hey, look, this is the way to do it. I'm Stephen Jobs. This is the way. We are the computer. We are the best out there. This is why. He showcased the accomplishments of the company. He showcased the talents. Are you showcasing your accomplishments? Are you showcasing your talents? Or are you going by that adage, oh, I got to be humble? Hell no, don't be humble. If you do something great, let the world know that it's great. Let yourself know that it's great. You don't care who's sick of hearing it, because the right people will get the message. You're great, and it's up to you to let everybody know you're great. So right now, make it your business to start letting everybody know your greatness. It ain't arrogance, it's showcasing. Because in the end, it's all about you. What you gonna do? How you gonna live your life? Are you gonna step into your greatness? Or are you gonna continue to just exist? Life is for the living, people. And I'm telling you this because I had a time in my life I didn't live. I had a time in my life I cowed myself down. I had a time in my life I lost faith. I lost faith, and I didn't believe in myself. Because things didn't go the right way. Or because things were taken from me. And it took me years. It took me years of self-talk to get back to being me, to know, you know what? You have everything it takes. You're great. Go ahead and step out into your greatness. Go ahead and shun what the naysayers say. You don't care about that. You're great. Find your niche and be great. And that's what I had to do. And let me tell you, it is a everyday, constant fight. I call it Can I because it's constant and never-ending improvement. Each day, I'm not competing with you. I'm not competing with anybody else out there. I'm trying to be the greatest I can be for me. And my services that I offer, my products that I offer, I'm trying to be great so I can go ahead and I can change the world. I can change society. I can change a person's situation for the better. So while I'm being my own biggest fan, I want to make sure I bring something of value to you. So before I close today, I want you to seriously write that letter and seriously ask yourself, are you your biggest fan? And as I always say in closing on any of my business videos, and I'm going to say it too on the motivational video, yours in life, yours in business, and yours in success. And most of all, I want you to do what? I want you to be great. Have a good day. Make it happen for yourself. And don't take no for an answer. See you on the other side. Bye now.